Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the Spring Garden Planting Series. Today we're sowing Clemson Spineless Okra seeds. Clemson Spineless Okra is very easy to grow. It grows 4 to 7 feet tall. It loves the heat, which is why it's famous in the South because, as you may know, it's very hot in the South. We have a hummingbird flying around us. I'm sorry for this. I'm distracted. The hummingbird is flying on the feeder. Um, so it grows, like I said, it grows 4 to 7 feet tall in the heat. It likes full sun. It loves well draining soil, and it needs to be watered consistently. Um, when you are sowing your seed needs to be at 3/8 of an inch depth, 12 to 15 inches apart. Especially if you're sowing in the ground, and your rows need to be 3 feet apart. But here we're going to only sow 2 seeds because this is a 15-inch pot. I want to ensure that I get at least germination on one of them. So I'm only going to sow one. And because I'm a small patio gardener, I don't have really space in the ground to thin the plants out and put them elsewhere. Enjoy the neighborhood kids, the sound of playing. So we're going to put in three 3/8 of an inch. Oops, drop one. So I can let you see what they look like. They're fairly large seeds. They're fairly large seeds. We're going to go in. Oops, that's a little deep. Actually, I'm going to move the hole over here so they would have space when they come up. Put one in there, lightly cover. Put one over here, lightly cover. I mean, even if you manage to put them lower, they're going to find their way to the light. So this is seed I purchased from Mail Seed Company. It's a minority owned company. I will put a link to their store in the description box below in case you're interested. I've already put in my soil, which is just basically a potting soil. And I added some biostarter. So since okra is a heavy feeder, it grows really fast. If you are sowing your seed indoors, you want to maintain an 80 to 90 degree temperature. So a heat mat is really important. When your seedlings are 4 inches tall, you can transplant them outdoors. Just make sure it's 3 to 4 weeks after your last frost because okra is not frost tolerant and it's not cold hardy, which is why it grows in the South. You can also um, harvest your seeds when you have to let the pods dry, and you can open them up and store and get the seeds out. But if your pod has split, you want to remove the seeds to make sure that you don't lose any seeds. So once you retrieve the seeds, you lay them out flat to let them dry, and then you can store them in a cool, dry place from 2 to 3 years. So you would have your own supply of seeds on hand when you're ready to plant some more okra in your garden or in a container. Also, the best time to harvest your okra is when it's between 3 and 7 inches long. It can grow up to 9 inches long, but when it gets that large, the okra becomes really woody, hard, and you lose some of the flavor. So anywhere between 3 to 7 inches is ideal to harvest your okra. It has the best flavor then. The preparation for okra, I know a lot of people aren't familiar with cooking it, and they say they don't like it because it's slimy. To reduce some of the sliminess, you can slice the okra after you wash it, of course, put it on a baking sheet in your oven and bake it at 250 degrees or so, and until it gets a little stiff, and that reduces some of the sliminess when you're cooking it. Also, the less you stir okra, the better. When you stir it, that's when the sliminess comes out. So that's another tip. I grew up eating okra in New Orleans, and my mother and grandmother mostly made stewed okra, or they put it in gumbo. You can also put it in soups. It's a very nutritious vegetable. So if I could suggest that you try it, I think you'll like it. We're going to allow these 2 seeds to germinate, and I should be able to harvest in about 56 days, as long as our weather continues to be warming up, because we had a very cold, wet winter. And my temperatures stay above 60 degrees, I'm in good shape. Also, let me go back to your seedlings. When you put your seedlings outside, please make sure that you put some mulch around them to maintain the moisture, because okra does not like to dry up. So this was our episode 3. We sowed our 2 seeds for Clemson Spineless Okra in our container. We're going to wait on some germination. Episode 4 is going to be Blue Lake bush bean planting. I have a plant, so we're going to plant this one in episode 4 of our spring garden planting series. Please let me know in the comments below if you have sown any okra this season, if you're familiar with it, what your thoughts are about okra, and after watching this video, if you're going to consider putting okra in your garden this spring. And hit the notification bell. Thank you for coming.